Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first, and this is an awful rack, but it's very easy. Whoops, it's very easy to deal with. Ugh. Okay, I have passed, and I intended to change. That is a pretty bad start. Just slightly confused by the buttons underneath the screen. Now, I do want to change all 7. There is nothing worth keeping. The J and the Q can be good letters, but they're certainly not when there's no vowels around. My opponent's changed, so back to where we started. And that is much better. Do I have a 7-letter bingo? These tiles are really bingo-y. If there is a 7 there, it's going to be very high probability. So I certainly will have studied it many times. Through a T I would have elicitor. I'm hoping my opponent will play some tiles rather than change again. If he does change, I could certainly play something like oil, leaving E-I-R-T. The only problem with that is that it doesn't score very much. But I think there may be a 7-letter word here. But having a good feeling about a rack doesn't always translate into the expectation that you think exists. Okay, I have 2 floaters, the A and the V. Can't see anything through the A. That would be a 5-vowel, 8-letter word. And through the V, well, I can't see anything through that. Now, Ava takes an L at the beginning and the end. So I could play oilier and aval, or iolite. I don't want to play oil and aval because that places the double word square immediately to its left and it's too easy to score well off. Just making sure in my mind that there isn't an 8-letter word here. Okay, I can't see one. I don't want to leave myself with a vowel preponderance. Certainly wish to play off an I. Well, what about keeping I-E-R? It's a slight vowel in preponderance, but it's quite a good set of tiles. It's 15 points. That's good. I have retinol, and that plays in column 9. Aval takes an N in front, so I've got retinol in row G. And aval takes an E, so I've actually got retinol starting at L7. Sorry, I would have if ot was good, which it isn't. Now loti takes a C after it. So I need to bear that in mind for future reference. It doesn't take anything else. I've got trot line through the T of loti. But at the moment my preferred spot is retinol and navel, played in row G. Well, I also need to consider if I've got a bingo beginning or ending with the first A of avel, which would reach a triple word square. So, is there a bingo with retinol plus an A? Relation. Okay, well that doesn't have the A at the beginning or the end. Is there an anagram of relation? My opponent plays a fire, which is fine. A fire takes no hook, so column 15 has not been opened. Has he provided any further spots for retinol? No, he hasn't. Do I have a bingo through the R of fire? Ritournelle is good. I'm not going to play that because it ends in row O, so it would be opening up triple word squares. So, retinol across here is best. That's 67 points. And this is quite a clunky rack. I have 5 tiles, 5 consonants scoring more than 1 point. I've only got 2 vowels. Generally with high scoring tiles, you're looking for vowels to help play them. But I do have the X, so maybe I do have something. I'm looking in column 14. If I can place my X on the triple letter square at J14 and get that doubled, I would have a big score. So, well, exceed isn't quite there. I haven't got enough E's. I don't have expect. Okay, I can't see anything there. I do have dex in row M. 38 points, that's not bad. Keeping BCPU, not a good leave, but I don't think any leave is going to be good with this rack. Now, well, this is interesting. What about bow down here? Although the U is my only vowel, it's not a good vowel. And CDP, well, that's not too bad. And 36 points is a good score. That's almost as many as dex. And I'm not really providing any great opportunities for my opponent. In fact, I'm taking out a pretty useful floater in the A. Okay, I have only one vowel and I have the Z, so I'm still struggling to play through these racks. Through an A I would have compand. I've just taken out the only A, but compand would not have scored much through that. It wouldn't have hit a double or triple word square. Again, I'm looking in column 14 to see if I can play through the E and place one of my high-scoring tiles on the triple letter square at J14. Can't see a way of doing that. So I'm now looking to see if there's anywhere I can play my Z. Now res is good, so I can put my Z at I4. I don't have to play my Z. Z is a tile which I can expect to score well with, even if I keep it. So if there's a good score for playing off some of my other tiles, I should consider that. Well, compend is good, and that actually works in column 14. That clears everything apart from the Z, and because it begins with a C, I am not opening up column 15 apart from for an H. One problem with this word is if it doesn't exist. Compendium is a very common word, so I may be inferring compend from compendium. Let's see if it stays on. If it does, I have a great rack. I'm just holding my breath to see if this stays on. Not literally. Now, I can't see a 7-letter bingo. I would have dock I's through a K. I do have the IZE ending. Great. Compend stays on. So, has my opponent provided a floater to enable me to bingo? This is a very promising looking rack. So I've got IZE, IZED, IZES. I've got Zoic as an ending. Now, have I considered all the floaters? There's the L of retinol. Can't see anything through that. Just working my way down through gaieties, which is a good spot by my opponent. Came down to the E of gaieties. Then there's the T. And I've also got the D in compend. Okay, nothing is jumping out, so I'm now looking for non-bingo plays using my Z. Now I do want to play off my Z this go, because the rest of my rack is really bingo-y. Now can I place my Z at H12? So I'm looking for a word meaning ZOC, ZIC, ZEC. No, can't see anything there. And I'm looking now in row B to see if I can put my Z at B6 with a word starting at B2. So a word like topaz, except I don't have those letters. Can't see a way of doing that. I do actually have zodiac in row B. Well, that's 48 points. That's not bad. And it's keeping E and S. Okay, well that's my score to beat, or move to beat. Now compend will almost certainly take an S. So how about placing my Z at O15, a word ending Z-I-S-E. Can't see a way of doing that. Now, one advantage of playing Zodiac is that my opponent is likely to be drawn to the top left. It's human nature to err towards playing in an area where your opponent has played, because subconsciously or consciously you're thinking you have first shot at the opportunities he's opened. And if my opponent is drawn to the top left, my rack leave of ES goes really nicely at the bottom of the screen for pluralizing compend. So let's see if this crafty plan works. Well, I'm not sure it has worked. I don't see a 7-letter bingo. Drawing 5 tiles is chancy. However good your 2 tiles are, when you're drawing 5 to 2, then you really are in the hands of the tile gods as to whether you do have a bingo. I'm looking around to see what floaters are available, to see if I have an 8-letter bingo. And yeah, okay. Can't see one. So, what do I want to do? I want to play off the Y and the U. I'm looking to see if I can play in row O with the Y at O12. So yest is good. Let's see what this scores. It doesn't get rid of the U, but the N and the U have synergy, so retaining the U isn't as bad as it would be without the N. And 48 points is a big, big score, and UNS is not a bad rack leave. Great. I draw a blank, and I have the H for going next to the Sea of Compens. So the question is sunfish good? Sounds really plausible. I may not have studied it. It's going to be very low in terms of probability. But I'm immediately drawn to it. Okay, I draw a 5-point penalty from my opponent for challenging yest. I now have a 64-point lead. Ah, the sunfish spot is taken, as well as column 11 for pluralizing retinol. Now I've got 9 minutes left and there's 29 tiles in the bag, so I can't spend too long on this move. I'm pretty sure there will be a bingo here. Well, even though I've only got one vowel. So maybe I haven't. But my blank is likely to be a vowel. So I'm just mentally running through the blank as each of the 5 vowels. Can't see anything through the A, E, I. I've dealt with sunfish. Okay. So the next... sunfish does play down here. Great. Well, great if the word is good. I don't think there's anywhere else that it plays. Sunfish and ease. And if it stays on, my rack is quite promising. And I'll have a good leave. Great, my opponent's challenged it. Sunfish is good. That is great. I would have been really disappointed and irked if I'd missed that. Pluralizing EA is not a hard thing to spot. You should always be aware of your 7-letter bingo lanes. Now that gives me a little bit of breathing space. I've got a 120-point lead. I've got 8 minutes on the clock. There's 22 tiles in the bag, 7 on my opponent's rack. But do I have a bingo? I don't have a 7. This is another of those racks that I'm drawn to, which suggests there may well be an 8, and there's quite a few floaters to consider. Looking at the floaters in Grace and in Gaieties. Well, the Gaieties floaters duplicate tiles on my rack, so they're not particularly promising. And apart from that, apart from those 2 words, I'm not sure there are many floaters elsewhere. The L of retinol is not available. I do not have any high-scoring tiles on my rack, so I may have difficulty in scoring. There are 2 E's in the bag. I mention that because if I consider words playing off 2 E's, in order to value my E's correctly, I need to be aware of how many are still to come. So actually my E's are worth keeping with only 2 more available. Now I'll probably have to play off 1 E, but I'll be reluctant to play off 2. This isn't a great board for scoring opportunities. I could play Glade in column 13. 19 points. Actually, that's not bad, and the rack leave of RET is really good. Okay, I think I am giving up on a bingo. There is still 1 blank unseen, so the more tiles I can play off, the more likely I am to draw it. The D and the G are not good tiles together, and the D is better than the G, so my priority is to play off the G. Alurone. I think that's good, but I'm going to challenge it. It is good. Okay, so has my opponent provided any floaters for a bingo? I am now only 43 points ahead. Okay, now I don't think he has. I'm wondering if I can play down column 14. Maybe placing my G or my D at F14 on the triple letter square. So that would have to be a word ending G-E-D. No, can't see a way of doing that. Okay, well, I think Glade is okay. I suspect it's not the best move, but I am mindful of the time. And this is a grim rack. I need to sort this out as soon as possible. The Q is a problem tile. At the moment, it plays at K5, making Chi, and I've also got Cat at J7 across. But wherever I play it, I'm not going to score very much, and I'm not going to give myself a good rack lead. 7 tiles left. My opponent is piling on the score. He's only 34 points behind. But the tiles that are left are not bingo-y. Now I'm going to play Chi rather than Cat because it scores more. And well, I think that's it. And the duplicate T on my rack is not really a problem because there are no T's left. And I'm not prepared to sacrifice 6 or 7 points to double my chances of a vowel when I have got 1 vowel on my rack. Great, I draw a vowel. I don't have a bingo-y rack. Maybe Matera is good, but I don't think there are really any useful floaters on this board. So I have a 54-point lead, but there are quite a few scoring tiles left, the B, H, K, W and Y, so my opponent could easily score 30 or 40 points and put pressure on me. I've got term at A14 down. 22 points. It's not a huge score, but given my lead, and given this rack, a score over 20 is good. My only scoring tile is the M, so I'm looking to see where I can play that to best effect. 34 points for my opponent, and the Y is left. Now look at that, he's played Whisk, Whisk takes a Y. He could have a massive score in row N. He's only 20 points behind. Okay. So, what I'm thinking about doing is term, keeping R-E-T. That would give me a 42-point lead. Let's just think, does my opponent have a play beginning at N2, a 5-letter play ending in Y? Well, possibly he could play Bonnie. $63 points. Wow. 63 points. I would then have one more go. I would probably if I could then go out and score 20, that might be enough. And of course he may not have the tiles for Bonnie. Let's find out. I haven't got any sensible way of blocking Whiskey. He has Bonnie. And I have a terrible rack. Okay, I'm expecting this to go down. Gosh. Well, this has been quite an impressive comeback by my opponent. I am only 42 points ahead. I'm expecting him to score 60. I've got 5 minutes on my clock, so I'll wait and see what he does before deciding that the game is lost. Now, in terms of 5-letter plays, I think the only way of winning this game, if my opponent plays Bonnie, is to go out. Ota and Row8 and Or8 are all good. Can't see anywhere for them. There's just no really good bingo lanes. My opponent's got 7.5 minutes to find Bonnie. But I am expecting him to find it. Well, let me work out. I think the only way he can win is by playing Bonnie, so let me just work out exactly what he'll score for that. $63. I'm 42 ahead. If he gets 63, he'll have a 21-point lead. He'll lose 4 on countback. I need to score 17. Go out and score 17 to draw. Wow, that's going to be tough. I can't see anywhere to go out. I'm wondering actually last go if I should have played Easter at J1 down. That would have stopped Bonnie. Anne scored 18 points. Yeah. I think given how dangerous Bonnie is, I perhaps should have taken more care to stop my opponent playing there. If he does play Bonnie, I don't think I've got to play in row O immediately underneath it. If I did have a play beginning at O1, it would be enough, but I don't. Well, my opponent is taking his time. I think what I will do is pause until he plays, because I have, I think, considered all the options on the board, so I don't have much to add. Oh, well, no need to do that. He has played Bonnie. Well done to my opponent. So, he has a 21-point lead. I have Or8 on my rack. Ah, now, well, I don't think this is going to score enough, but let's just see. I need to score 17 to draw. 14. Ah, close. Oh well, that's what I'll play if I can't find something better. So where would be better? It's no good playing in rows B, C or D. Well, a word ending in row D ending MU would work, but I can't see one. Can't see anything at the beginning of row C. Row F would work, starting at F1, so word beginning OB or AB. There isn't one there. A word beginning at F9 would work, going through G and ending O. Can't see anything there. Now, my opponent's got two I's. If he can't go out, maybe I can have... Oh, wow, hang on. Maybe I've got two plays. I don't have to go out in one. So, if I played something like Wove for 12, then I'd be 9 points behind. And I've got Tar at 01. Well, my opponent can't block Wove. So if I played Tar first, 15 points, I'd be 6 points behind. I'd get 12 for Wave. My opponent can only play DI once. I'd get... Wow. Okay, I have got a possibility of winning this. I need to go out in 2 and score. Now, are Wove and Tar my best options? Well, I'm certainly keeping the OE. That would give me Wove, and it would also give me OE at C13 down. So, what's the best I can do with Rat and Tar? Tar at 01, 15 points. That's what I'm trying to beat. Wow. Can I win this? What can my opponent do with his eye? What's the best he can do? He's got one shot at playing an eye. I need to quickly check, because if there's only one high scoring spot, I may be able to block it. He can get 6 points at F13. I don't have time to work out if that's enough. Ah, M6, that's the killer spot. Chi and high. So, how do I block that? Well, if I play just the O there for 13 points, then I've got rate at 01. But do I have anywhere else which is really great for rate if my opponent plays BI at 02? Okay, I'm running out of time. What if I played core, and then I'm keeping TAE, which plays out in 2 places? Okay, so I've got TAE at 01. I'm 7 points behind. I've got TAE at 01. I've also got TAE at B13 for 19 points. So that's where I'm going to play. And 15 at 01. I don't know if either of those wins. I'm going to have to play quickly because I've only got 21 seconds on the clock. As soon as I go overtime, I lose 10 points and I definitely lose the game. I haven't checked to see if my opponent can go out in 1 with his 2 I's. Iwi is a word. I don't think the W's are available. The W's are not available for Iwi. I'm not aware of any other 3-letter 2 I words. So I'm 7 points behind. My opponent played... Great, here we go. Here we go. T, A, E, tell, air, emu. All those words are good. Yeah, I think that's enough. Just wait to see what my opponent does. Oh, fantastic. I thought that was a lost game. The final score, 417 to my opponent, 425 to me. A win by 8 points. That was a thrilling conclusion, and well, I think it's learningness is self-evident. I thought at the end I had one shot after Bonnie, but always consider what your opponent's got on his rack. In this case, he had 2 eyes and he couldn't go out. Even though he had only 2 letters, he couldn't go out. That may well explain why he spent so long before playing Bonnie. I thought he was savouring the moment. He was almost certainly looking to see where he could play out with his eyes. There wasn't anywhere, and I actually had 2 moves at the end of the game, not the one that I was expecting. Let's see what I missed. Okay, this was my poor start. And I changed here, and yeah, certainly changing is better than playing HM. Now, great, I didn't miss a bingo here. That would have been irksome. This is a really high probability set of tiles, and I think my play was fine. Most of the other plays there play off a lot of tiles, and the rack leave is poor, whereas my rack leave of EIR was good. This is where I played Retinol for 67. I could have got 1 more point for Ritornell. That would have opened up row O, so Retinol was best. Oriental was the anagram of relation along with Tailoron, but none of them began or ended with A. Dex for 38. Okay, I considered that, and then I played Bow for 2 points less because the rack leave was better. And this is where I play Compend for 40, and I could have got 46 for Mosed at D5. Really? D5. Oh, I'm making Waved. Yup, I think that would have been a little bit better, and I didn't see it. That was a great spot by my opponent. Gaieties is a 4-vowel word, but just a tricky word to spot, I think. Great, I didn't miss a bingo here, and Zodiac looks fine. And no miss bingo here, but I did have Nutsy for 42 points at 011. I played Yest for 6 more points, but retaining the U. I suspect there is not very much between those plays, but if I'd have seen Nutsy, I would have played it. Sunfish, the only bingo playable at L1. Took a while to spot it, but I got there in the end. No, I didn't miss a bingo here, and Grated at J6. I didn't consider that. That's running across the top of Lowtie, 28 points. Instead, I played Glade for 21, the rack leave of ERT. Well, probably slightly inferior, but not much. This rack's pretty awful. I played Chi for 20, and all of the other options retain the queue, and I think it was a priority to get rid of it. I could have easily... Well, I'm going to have to play it at some point for a small score, so I might as well get it out of the way. This is where I played Term, and for 22, yeah, that looks as good as anything else. Now, I had a winning play. I didn't have to go through the agony of that 2-move out. I had Troade at N10 running across the top of Yest, and that would have won by 1 point. Okay, so that was a winning outplay I missed. But having missed it, what could my opponent have played? He could have played Finney at L4. Okay, so he did have a winning outplay. He didn't see that, fortunately for me. And Tay at B13 was my move, which was enough to secure the win. So, a thrilling game, which I think illustrates how exciting Scrabble can be. It was a really tense endgame. I made an error in not spotting Troade, my opponent made an error in not spotting Finney, but with a short amount of time on your rack, it's on your clock, it's inevitable that you're making moves under time pressure and don't always spot the best move. But it's a challenge to try and do so, and something that one aspires to. Anyway, I thought the game was lost, and it wasn't, so that was pretty exciting. I hope you enjoyed watching it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.